Welcome to part 1 of this week's ELA lesson. We are continuing in our social studies books for the next chapter. What that chapter is going to be about is the state government. So I'm going to go over vocabulary words for this chapter, and that's what this part is mostly going to be about. And then I will give you next steps to follow for the rest of the week. So because this week we are starting a new chapter, I want to go over the vocabulary. There are 3 new vocabulary words that will show up in this chapter related to the state government. The first one is capital. Capital is an office building where a government's legislature meets. So as we are reading this chapter, you're going to see this word capital. Take note of the definition, and while we're reading, use the context to try to make sense of this new word. The same with the next one, which is public servant. A public servant is a person who works for the local, state, or national government. So we have capital and we have public servant. The last vocabulary word is tax. Tax is money that people or businesses pay to support the government. Again, those 3 vocabulary words, capital, public servant, and tax, will show up in this chapter. What I'm going to challenge you for an assignment for this part is I want you to write down the definitions for these words and then try to come up with a sentence of your own to put these vocabulary words in. So after you read or listen to this part, you are going to see an assignment linked after this video that has you use these new vocabulary words in your own sentence. That will help us get more familiar with this new vocabulary. So that's part 1, going over the vocabulary for this chapter. The next part, we are going to break up this chapter into different sections, just like last week. And we are going to figure out the main idea with supporting details for those sections. So stay tuned for part 2.